Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Pick Up the Mic. Again, we're doing another video one, and with me today is Jeffrey and Anushka as usual. Do you want to say hello, Jeffrey and Anushka?
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a nice day. It's always a pleasure to be back. So, glad to be doing another episode.
Hi, guys. It's great to be back and nice to see everyone back as well.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So today we're going to be talking with Catherine, our lovely guest today, and we'll be going over some of her experiences at university and giving her the chance to have a discussion with us and talk through things. So just going on to Catherine now, I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of an introduction.
A bit about myself. My name's Catherine, which you guys all already know. Studied biomedical science for 4 years with a thick sandwich course, which means that I did placement during my third year of uni. I actually graduated with a 2-1. So I'm glad, I graduated with the best grade I could graduate with. Now I want to go into being a chemistry secondary school teacher. So that'll be great stuff, working with the kids. Just a bit about myself. I just want to impact the youth, specifically people around our age and younger to 13. That's the lowest I could possibly go. I'm looking forward to more opportunities to do that. So that's a bit about myself. So yeah. Yeah, the mood line's really great, Jeffrey. Keep up.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I guess it's really, thank you for the introduction, Catherine. It's really good to know a bit more about you. And I guess when we get into it, people will learn more about university experience and specifically more about your university experience. So, let's go to the next question. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Catherine. It's been really good to know a bit more about you. And I know you briefly touched upon it in our last question, but I guess now with our first official question, we just want you to describe your university experience. So how was university for you? What are some, key moments that you liked? Is there anything that you learned, lessons from, things like that?
That's a really good question. So in terms of my university experience, I came to uni with really, really high hopes because obviously you watched all the university videos you can possibly find, gonna get lit, gonna find friends, everything. It's just it's gonna be fun times. I'm looking forward to it. Coming to uni with that mindset and actually coming to uni prior to sixth form times and knowing that I hadn't really basically in my year 13 time, I made sure I was very much to myself because I'd encountered different kind of friendship groups. And I was just I'm kind of done with it. I feel better just being in my own little bubble. So I went to uni knowing that I'm not going to make friends with everyone. I just want to have the right friends, the right people around me. And so during my first year, I ended up making the right kind of friends with that mindset. It might not do everyone good, but it did me good. Made the right friends. I actually ended up starting up my own ministry and starting up my own kind of events group that hosted gospel events. So we ended up hosting 2 massive gospel events in academy over the 4 years at uni, one in second year and one during my placement year. So that kind of added a lot more, jazz to my university experience because I love music, I love the singing, I love God, and I love the Christians around me, and just seeing other people just, encounter God through music, which is quite nice. I ended up utilizing my singing a bit more. So that was kind of fun too. So that was kind of added a bit of jazz to my university experience. And then also, I don't know if you guys can see it because obviously I have the logo behind me of you guys podcast, but I'm wearing a peer assisted leader top. I did that in my second year of uni. And if for those who don't know what it is, which I'm sure you guys know what it is, but for those who don't go Brunel, who may not know about it, it's basically a program put forward by the PDC, the Professional Development Center, where, for my course, I obviously studied biomedical science. So during my second year, I embarked on this course, and what it was facilitating lessons that myself and another peer on my course will just come together and plan sessions around the learning of first-year undergraduate students. So it will, for example, be about referencing. It was never about, we're going to make you understand anatomy more, because we weren't in the place of lecturers. We were just here to facilitate what the lecturers had already taught. So if they didn't know referencing, we'll teach them how to do it. They didn't know how to, find certain authors or journals, we will show them how to do it. So it'll be stuff like that. And it was very successful. Loads of people learned from our sessions. It was quite amazing. That's kind of like the pinnacle of my experience at uni. And it actually helped. Let me not say anything else, because I may end up answering another question. So that was my second year experience. And then third year placement, I would probably say, because you said, what did I like? What didn't I like? I really did like placement because I learned a lot professionally speaking. Yeah. But what I didn't really like about placement was just the people. Kind of felt as though, they were a lot older, and I don't think they kind of took me under the wing as someone who's coming into the professional sphere for the first time in my entire life, who's still a student. I don't think they really understood the fact that I was only a student. It wasn't really the best place. It was kind of toxic for me, but I just took it I took it with a pinch of salt. Like, there's certain areas that you're just gonna have to just, like, if they're giving you negative vibes, you're just gonna have to keep giving you positive vibes. So that's kind of the mindset I had being there. But other than that, I ended up doing extremely well in my placement portfolio. So that was a positive from the negative. I ended up doing extremely well, kind of getting first in my portfolio. And that was probably what I disliked and what I liked about my third year of uni.
I love it.
Anything else? Should I?
I kind of got a first. You're being very humble there, like.
Kind of.
That sounds amazing. I want to know more about how did you start to form that group? The gospel group that you started forming. Like, what made you think, like, because obviously you surrounded yourself with all of those good people, which is like, again, that is an amazing bit of advice that I learned, like, through uni, is just find your group of people that you're with and who are good for you. That's so important, because people define your experience everywhere you go. Like you're saying with the job you had, it was the people there that didn't make it so good because they were less accommodating. But anyway, how did you get into doing that? That's really cool. Such a good achievement.
I know, thank you. But I really like to point exactly people shape our experiences. So basically, with the gospel group, I obviously came to uni, but I wasn't really someone that was like, oh God. But at the end of my first year, I had that mindset of, oh God. So these people that I met, the friends that I met, I met them at a concert. So it was a gospel concert, and it was an amazing experience, my first ever concert ever. And I remember leaving that concert with the mindset of, I want to start a gospel group, so we can do this as well at Brunel. It would be nice to bring such an experience that I had at a concert to campus, and having people enjoy like that kind of atmosphere and vibe. So that's kind of what inspired me. Getting the group wasn't as though it was hard, because I already had the friends that wanted to also be a part of it, that I'd met in my first year. So it really helped a lot. And the society that I was going to as well, they were extremely supportive and accommodating of the whole idea and vision, and of starting a gospel events group kind of thing. So I don't know if to answer your question, but I think because I was already friends with them, it helped a lot. So,
That's really nice.
Yeah, and I think like a key thing that you raised, Catherine, was the idea that you found yourself as you went through your placement, which is very key. And I think that's one of the things that, you know, some students, I know we're not necessarily talking about placements this episode, but it is a thing that sometimes students forget, even not necessarily with placements, but, you know, with university coursework or, you know, certain modules. The whole idea, I guess, not only with university, but with life is, you know, you have to learn what you like and what you don't like, and how you learn and how you don't learn, and things like this. So even, I think that's really key, like with what you said, like you went into your placement, you found parts you enjoyed, you found parts you didn't enjoy, but you still took lessons from that, and they still impacted you, and, you know, let you know what you want to do afterwards. And I think that's very key. I know, you know, in our previous episode with Kem, we talked about placements a bit there, and we did say that, you know, doing one does let you know what you want to do after you graduate. Because, you know, I know, you know, even as myself, I'm a recent graduate, and I know that there are some people on my course who were thinking, you know, like, I don't know what to do afterwards. But like you said, like having done a placement helps you to know, like, this is the type of workplace I want to work in. This is the type of workplace I don't want to work in. And yeah, I guess for anyone listening who's a Brunel student, then most of the time are like a number of different types of placements you can take. So if you don't necessarily want to do a full year one, you can do 2 summers instead. But yeah, literally just speak to your course supervisor, or, you know, your head of course. There might even be a placement individual, or like member of staff who's, you know, in charge of getting placements for students. But just make sure you do sort that out, because I know that depending on if you're a first and a second year and where you are within the, you know, the academic journey, that can depend and like limit your choices on placements. But yeah, thank you very much for that answer, Catherine, and yeah, thank you for the insight. So yeah, we will now go to the next question. Been really good to, you know, learn a bit more about your university experience. So now looking, I guess, you know, we looked at the past of the last question. Looking currently, like you said, you've graduated, and obviously you must be either looking for masters or, you know, looking for possibly, you know, places to work. So the question I want to ask you is, how has university prepared you for work after graduation? Has it given you any skills that might be useful? Anything like that? Just if you could let our listeners know.
Thank you for the question. One thing I could say is that with my course, they made sure we did a lot of presentation. So that actually gave me a lot of like confidence and communication skills and presentation skills, actually speaking in front of a panel of lecturers and students. And so, yeah, that really, really helped me a lot, like my course itself, in terms of that, even working with just like a team of people, knowing how to like not always be like, I'm going to be the leader, learning how to work in a team, communicate in a team and liaise with your team members helped me when I went to placement, liaising with different colleagues and different members of staff, and then in future liaising with different teachers, because obviously I want to go into teaching. I don't think I said it already, but like I was telling the podcasters before, I want to go into teaching. So yeah. And in terms of just like my experience itself, in my first year, I remember working in a team of like 5 people, and it was on a global health impact project called the Ready Employability Program, and ended up coming 4th out of 20 groups, so we were quite pleased with that. And yeah, we had it was my very first presentation at Brunel, so it was really daunting, but we ended up doing it in front of like a huge group of people, and I feel as though that really just head started my my journey of, you know, presenting in front of people, and then obviously doing things like the gospel events and leadership in the society as well. It just meant that I was doing a lot of speaking in front of people. So now when it comes to teaching, that I'll do after, because I finished my degree now, it's not going to be so hard speaking in front of like 30 students, 40 students, and maybe we don't know where it may take me if I'm going to be speaking in front of loads more students. So yeah, I feel as though uni's really helped me in that regard. And I would also say the mentoring program, I can't stress it enough, but those who go Brunel, go to any other university, please utilize mentors. Like actually have a mentor, because having mentors really helped me. Having a career advisor really helped me as well, shape what I really want to do. Oh, whoa. It disappeared for a second. And yeah, so it definitely helped me a lot with, you know, what I wanted to do, which is teaching now.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And I think it's really key that you did highlight the use of these mentoring services. They are definitely a key resource that, I know Catherine's mentioned, Brunel's got one, and I'm sure that if anyone listening, if they go to another university or if they go to, I don't know, like a college or whatever, there are a whole host of mentoring services available. So please do make sure that you utilize these and use the ones that because you'll never know how good having a mentor, or even like learning these skills, can help you after you graduate.
So yeah, thank you for that answer, Catherine. So on to the next question. I know that you touched upon kind of the resources and help that was there that the university provided you with, but are there any other things maybe that it could be course related or just anything such as like managing your finances or anything that was available to you which helped you throughout your university life?
I'd probably say I really liked the job vacancy thing.
Is it Job Shop? Is that what it is?
It was job. I think it's Job Shop. I think it might be Job Shop, but other things as well from Brunel. Because they'll always send emails about different vacancies they've got, which my career advisor helped a lot with that. But also the Job Shop was really, really important as well in doing that. So I'd probably say that. Because I think this is what Jeffrey said earlier about if you don't do a placement, you could do 2 in like summer kind of internship stuff. So on the Job Shop, I think it's Job Shop, you can find loads of different, sorry guys, you can find loads of different things internship stuff and placement things as well. So yeah, I think Job Shop really helped with that. Brunel volunteering, just because it helped me with just getting volunteering points, and it made me feel good when I get an award, and it really helped me just be someone that helps people and impacts people as well as having uni impacts me. So I'll definitely encourage that was one great facility. In terms of finance, didn't find anything like that. But if it's organization skills, I think one thing I utilized was having a planner, a whiteboard planner. The uni didn't help me, but it helped me with uni. So I would say that.
Yeah, that's true. And what you were talking about regarding if you don't want to do a placement year and to do something during the summer months, because it's 4 months or something. I think we've touched upon this in another episode. I don't know whether it's in the first season or the second season, but you can talk to your lecturers and ask them if you can just do some work for them and help them, because as we've also said before, any experience is good experience. So yeah, there's that as well, I think. But yeah, really good answer. Thank you.
Yeah, and just to add on to that bit, the awards part, for any Brunel students listening, there are quite a few awards that you can get. And it is always nice, once you've graduated or, even after, because I know some of these award schemes do it by year. So even after your first year or your second year or your third year or your final year, it is quite good to be able to, put on places like LinkedIn or your CV that you have had these awards. And there's many, like Catherine said, there's the Brunel's Volunteer Award, which is, depending on the number of hours you do as a volunteer. There's also the Brunel Plus Award that tries to give you a overall, general skill type, so that you can, come out of university with a few different experiences that you can, put under your belt. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Catherine. And like we said, do check out your universities, because they will offer, numerous schemes individually. And there are some schemes, just to add, there are some schemes online from all professional organizations that are accredited, so you can actually say that you've got an award from a certain organization. But yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty decent advice, actually. Yeah. So I'm learning this now in my masters. It's too late. But I didn't use a planner for my first 3 years when I was doing my undergrad. Never used a planner, completely regret it. I started using it in my final year, but I think when things get a bit more stressful, use a planner, and life's just so much easier now. If everyone needs to do anything, I just look at my planner and be like, am I free? Am I not? Can I plan things ahead? Super useful for my dissertation as well, because apparently I'm ahead, but I don't know how long that will stay there for. Because as soon as you're ahead, you're just like, I can relax, and then everyone else who's like rushing like overtakes you. But anyway, that doesn't matter. It's not a race. That doesn't even matter. But yeah, no, planners are super useful. But like you're saying, that's something that you did to the uni rather than what the uni did to you, which does draw us on to our next question. And I was just wondering what these higher education institutions can do to improve the experience, the general university experience of the students that come through.
I really like that question. What I will say is that when I was like doing my dissertation, which was one of the most interesting experiences, I felt as though when I did voice it to my supervisor, oh look, mentally, like I haven't really done a few things. I know I keep moving. I haven't really done a few things.
It's okay, don't worry.
I'm so sorry, podcast, but I'm gonna try to stay still. So yeah, when I did voice to them, like mentally how I was feeling, kind of felt as though it wasn't really reciprocated. She didn't really like. What I'm trying to say is that I felt as though when it comes to dissertation, supervisors should help as well as academically, mentally as well, like because you're basically speaking to them throughout. Like that's like, I don't know, your pillar throughout your dissertation process. And I felt as though, wow. Yeah, I felt as though like they just weren't mental. I don't know how to make it make sense. But I felt as though in terms of mental illness or just like supporting someone, I just didn't feel supported in that manner. Even with just the dissertation itself, but every supervisor is very different. So maybe I'm going to speak from my own experience. But I think when it comes, because obviously Sam does psychology, so I feel as though it can probably resonate a lot of him as well as the rest of you guys as well. But yeah, I feel as though it's important that academic staff should really take on the mental health of their students, because we're not just like projects, or we're not just the reason why you get your money, but as in we're here, and you like people make up experiences. And I feel as though many staff, many like supervisors and lecturers don't really cater to the mental health of students. And I feel as though if there's anything I could say, it's that. So yeah, I don't know how they could do it, but maybe, I don't know, it can just be as easy as checking up or having a Zoom call. And I think one other student from another university said it, you can just try and talk to your supervisor about your mental health. I'm just like, but not all supervisors, or many supervisors, many lecturers aren't really on that page. I know when it comes to biomedical science, they're all for the academics, not really for the mental health. So she just said, oh yeah, I will sit with my supervisor and we'll just have a whole hour conversation just about my mental health.
Wow.
I was like, that's very important. And that was really key to hear, because I mean, hearing that, I was like, that was never my experience. So interesting. But
yeah. I think in the same way that you're disappearing and becoming invisible, the unis can make us feel pretty invisible. And I think that's a good point, like hopefully going forward. Well, unis will be able to, sorry, everyone's laughing, so I was laughing as well, but yeah, they won't be able to see like everyone in the actual thing. But yeah, as unis progress, as go forward, I think mental health is becoming more of a thing. Something, because I worked at the university for a bit last year before everything closed down, and something that they were trying to get lecturers to sign up to was to do mental health first aid. And so there's certain courses that the lecturers themselves can go on to get first aid in order to like know how to react to people going through mental difficulties. Because obviously, like you're saying, like if you came to them, like they might just be like dismissive, like, oh, I don't know about that, or and these worries like set us. But if you saw at the end of maybe an email, they had a banner saying like mental health first aid trained, you're thinking like, that's the person I can go to, it's the person I can connect to. And I think we were trying to do that before the lockdown, but I was working with a department that doesn't interact with the teaching one. So it's completely up to them. And not everyone, I guess, wants to do that. But yeah, now I'm working for Mind. That's something that we get trained in, yeah. So, but that's it's a really good point. And yeah, like, university experience is, it's a very stressful time, especially during dissertations. And I know a lot of people do have certain, they go through certain things when they're going through the stress of exams and dissertation and stuff, and to have have the person there that you can talk to, because it would be really good. Yeah, very good point.
Catherine, thanks for that answer. And so on to the final question now. I think I can speak on behalf of all of us when we say that we've really enjoyed hearing about your university experience, what you've learned during university, like just everything, even the bad stuff, still part of life. But what we want to know is, what's one piece of advice that you could give someone who's about to go to university?
Really good question. I really like the question. What I would say, and I'm hoping I do not disappear this time, I could probably use that to motivate people. There'll be times that you disappear, but you're not completely gone. Just keep on pushing through the technical difficulties. But coming to uni, I'll definitely say, like, there's so many things that you have so many expectations. Like, it's just life. Like, and sometimes we always have high expectations and good expectations of something, and we kind of miss out on the bad aspects of things, of life. And coming to uni, there were bad aspects to it, but I think it was finding the beauty in the ugly. And I feel that's the advice I'll give to people. Like, even if things are not going your way, just try and find the beauty in it and just try and push through it. Because I could say the best thing that happened to me was, placement. They were acting the way they were acting, but coming out with like a high grade, like basically a first class from my placement portfolio, made me feel as though that's the beauty in the ugly, like in the ugliness. Like, it didn't go so well with different things I encountered, but there was something that came out well out of it, like the result. So I feel that's just how uni is. Like, there's going to be so many things that happen at uni, but just know that, like, just to find, see the greatness and the balance of the good and the bad, but just keep on going through it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, one step at a time, isn't it? Yeah, really good answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Those are some really, really good questions. And I feel there's a lot that people can take away from this. So now it comes to the time where you can give us a question. So it's the interviewer is now the interviewee. So please just feel free to ask us anything.
First question is, what purpose do you think university serves in a young person's life? Second question is, and what's one important thing you've learned after attending university? And for those who didn't attend university, what's life's greatest lesson learned so far?
That's a really good question. And it's a very hard one. I think for me, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone here, and say that, the most important thing that university does, both for myself and for young people in general, is everything that comes with university. I'd say is less the course. The course is like, that will help you in your job, that will help you in your future prospects. But I think for someone as an individual, as a person, university is a time where you grow your identity, you grow closer to who you are. Because at school, obviously, you've had the same friends, you might have had them for a very long time. And this is an experience to remake yourself and be who you feel comfortable with. And I think through university, there's no set place. I'd say myself, going through university, I developed quite a lot as a person, and I changed. And like you said, Catherine, you knew, your friends and your group at the beginning, whereas for me, it took a little bit of time. But I'd have to say that, like, it's going to the clubs. It's, not clubbing on a night out. It's going to, like, the extracurricular clubs, joining a society, doing sport, going out clubbing as well. I'll just throw that in there in case it's not for everyone, but like if that's what you like. But I think it's just about having conversations with just random people that you would never normally meet. And I think the university is the perfect time for that, because everyone's new, everyone's fresh into university experience, and everyone's just wanting to meet people. So I'd say for me, like, the most important thing that I learned from university was just the whole experience of, like, developing yourself and becoming who you want to be, and knowing that you have the ability to do that. If you're not happy with who you are, you can always change it. And I think that's something that's, nothing's ever set in stone. That's the lesson I learned from it most. And I think for young people, university serves as like a gateway into that. And people come from all different paths. Some of them troubled, some of them easy, some of them everything in between. And there was people that I was friends with in first year who'd been through the criminal system at a young age as well. But when they went to university, it's a completely new start. They make new friends, and it's a good leg to stand on. I think that's what is really good about university. It's not just the course. The course is there. That's why it's the reason you're there. But I think the real benefit that it gives to young people is everything around the course and the structure as well that it gives people.
I'll answer the question next. Really good point, Sam. And thank you, Catherine, for the questions. So for me, the most important, the main purpose that university serves in a young person's life, I think, is, like Sam said, for the individual to develop. So I think a lot of people know that parents always say that when their child leaves from sixth form, goes off to uni and comes back 3 years later, they're a completely different person. I mean, that could also be in a good way or a bad way, depends on how you look at it. But either way, I think the whole university experience just helps to shape the person. And in answer to the second question, one important thing that I think I've learned is, well, you touched upon how. So I did the same course as you. I did biomedical sciences, and you touched upon how there were a lot of presentations that we had to do, basically. And I think for me personally, alongside the course, I used to work as a Urban Scholars Ambassador and STEM Ambassador, and that helped my confidence a lot and helped my public speaking a lot. So not necessarily academically, because I obviously did the course because I enjoyed it, but for me to develop as a person, it really helped me because my confidence just shot up. I mean, maybe not completely, but a hell of a lot more than when I was in school. So that's what I think I took away from uni, to be fair.
Yeah, and I think for me, both Sam and Anushka have answered it really well. And, it's interesting to see that both their perspectives are different. But yeah, I think for me, I'd say the purpose that university serves is it's kind of like I'd say it's part reality check, but also part like getting you ready for the working world. And I think that also, like, that phrase for uni students does get thrown around a lot, but it kind of does. And I guess the reason why I would say it does, like, give you a reality check, for example, so I'll start off with that, is it sort of like shows you that the world is bigger than, like, I guess, the bubble that you're used to. And I know we spoke about this before about, like, with climate change, but I think the university, like, exposes you to, like, a wider range of people. You're learning at a different pace than you're used to at, secondary school and sixth form or college. And it's one of those things where, even though, everyone's come from different walks of life, like Sam was saying, you're all at this, like, same level field. And it shows you, like, this is actually what happens in workplaces when you go to organizations to work there, like, full time. When you even do a placement, you're going in at the same level as other people. And it really is a good reality check. But also this idea of, like, showing you the working world is, I know people say it depends on the course, but university as a whole experience can be tough. It honestly can be tough, and it can be challenging, but it's one of those things where you do learn. So it's one of those things where you just have to think about, like, making sure that you get the most out of it, doing these things, learning lessons from the good and the bad, whether it's, deadlines, like we talked about, planners. One of the things you definitely have to manage as a uni student, but also when you graduate, is this idea of, like, deadlines and making sure you have enough time to do the different pieces of coursework, making sure that you actually know what you're writing about for your coursework is actually what the coursework's on. Because I know there's been times that I've done it, I know my friends have done it as well, where, you've been really enjoying your coursework, you've been doing it well, and then you'll just get to a point where you're just like, well, actually, this isn't what's in the assessment. So just thinking about that and, making sure that that's what I'd say university is the purpose for. One thing I've learned from attending university is definitely the idea. One thing is hard, because I'm kind of like, I've got a few. I'm going to pick two. I'm going to be that person. Just pick two. I'm going to say, so the first thing I would say, it shows you, it introduces you to like-minded people. I've said it before that the people I do the podcast with are amazing people. It's nice to know that there are other people. It's nice to know that there are other people, out there that, I don't know, like get you, and they understand you. And I think like what Catherine was saying at the start of, she wasn't expecting, or loads of friends, or like Sam was saying, his experience as well. I think that's one of the key things that university does teach you, that even if it's not on your course, there's so many like societies and sporting clubs and so many events where you can meet like range of people, and some of these people will be friends for life. I know people say statistics about it, but obviously it's up to the individual, but you will meet people that will impact your life in a strong way. So I'd say that's the first important thing. And the second important thing about attending uni is, I would say it's that like beginning, it's that opening of a new chapter. Because I would say I definitely feel like I've learned a lot. I'm not sure if I said it before, but I did do like a placement year. So I've spent like 4 years at uni, and that is one of the things that I feel like I have come out knowing, like I'm not the same person that I was when I started uni. And even looking back at it, looking back at all the things that, I've done, all the people I've met, all the friends that I've made, it's been a great experience. And I think that's one of the things that you've got to go into to going to university, knowing that. I know sometimes we get in our heads, this idea of, university is going to be like the films, and it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to have, by the end of first term, I'm going to go to my big clubbing event. And, or, there's some people that think they're going to meet the one at university or things like that. But it's like knowing that you go to university, and like, as long as you like take these opportunities, you do things that you wouldn't necessarily, going out of your comfort zone and enjoying yourself, is really key. And then once it's done, you'll come out and you'll be like, wow, I didn't know all these things about myself, but I now know like what I'm passionate about, what motivates me. And it can be really key once you've graduated to know all these things, because then you can say, well, look at it. I know I want to do this subject, or you can even learn the things that you don't want to do. So yeah, I would say that's my opinion. But this, as always, nicely leads us onto the MC of the month. So the MC for this month is, some people have heard of this organization, some people have not, but I'm pretty sure if you're a UK student, even if you're not, you might have heard of it. The MC for this month is the Student Room. Now, the Student Room, for anyone who might not know, it's quite popular, like I said, especially in the UK. It's basically an education website, and it's used by quite a lot of students. They said on their website over 70% of students all students in the UK, that is, use their website every year. The reason why, I've highlighted them, because they do stuff for colleges as well, but regarding university, is it's a community of students that is basically used to support other students, whatever your background is, whether, you did A-levels or you did BTEC, whether, this is, you went straight into an undergraduate, or, you worked for a bit and then went into an undergraduate, whatever, the Student Room is all supposed to be there about creating this community to help students. And, they've got these 3 points that they raise. They say they help students by, ensuring that students know about the best places to study for them and revision help, making the right educational choices, and asking advice on everyday issues and building friendships. And it's very key. Some things we raised there about like financing, issues such as like when it comes to relationships, or, mental health or health, and being able to know how to ask for help. Even things like, knowing about accommodation or making friends. This is really key to the university experience. So that's why I would say they're the MC for the month, because it is a really good website to use. And what I like what I've said before is it's very key, because they do I know there's like official rankings for like universities and stuff, or even there's, I don't know if it's necessarily the Student Room, but I know there are some organizations that do like the student experience, so they rate that. But what's really good is the Student Room is literally students talking about their experience. So it's not per se that, I don't know, they're getting paid by the university to write a story or, do a blog post or whatever. It's literally students talking about their experience on different topics. So if you're looking to go to university, or if you're at university, or if you've got an issue at university that you don't necessarily know, the resources available to you or anything that we've mentioned in this episode or previous episodes about university and you want to know more, I'd say the student room is definitely a good place to check out. So yeah, that's basically it for the MC of the month. And yeah, we have now come to the end of the episode. As always, it's been a pleasure to have you guys listening or watching the show. And yeah, we will keep you updated about what we're doing next. As you know, by this point, you hopefully will know about our YouTube channel. So we will be uploading more content there. You know, maybe not necessarily like full episodes, but we will be doing other things. And as always, asking these important and relevant questions. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Catherine, for being a wonderful guest today. And we will see you all for our next episode. So take care and have a wonderful day.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
See you later.